Solve k squared plus 9 equals 0 using complex numbers if necessary. When we have a quadratic, generally what we're going to do as a baseline strategy is to collect all terms to one side of the equation and begin trying the factoring process. But in this particular case, because there's no linear term, it all kind of simplifies to where I can just try and get the variable by itself. So I move all the constants to one side, and the next step in this case is I would take the square root of both sides. And because I'm taking the square root of a squared variable, I need to make sure I take the plus or minus square root. So this becomes k on the left-hand side equals the plus or minus square root of negative 9. And technically speaking, the square root of a negative value is not defined. It is in the complex realm, and we can enter the complex realm if we allow things like I to be defined as the square root of negative 1. So in this particular case, if I have the square root of negative 9, then what that means is I'm taking the square root of negative 1 times 9, and the square root of two things multiplied can be split up into two separate square roots. The square root of negative 1 is I. The square root of 9, because it's a perfect square, is 3. I learned that k is the value plus or minus 3 times I.